Shall we start?
Sure.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Joyce and I'm going to be moderating the conversation today with Sarah. I am an assistant curator at Parasite and Chang will also be helping out. Chang is a curator that you probably all know from Parasite, and joining us today is Sarah Lai, one of Hong Kong's local artists. So before we start, I just wanted to remind everyone that can you guys please mute yourselves during the visit, or else your background noise will affect our audio recording. And as well will be, if you guys can open the chat box, and if you have any comments or questions, please type them out over there, and we will ask Sarah during the Q&A session. Lastly, we will be recording this and it will be shared on the YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel in the next couple days. So if you ever want to revisit this footage or this conversation, you're welcome to join us on YouTube and do so. So hi, Sarah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
We're pretty good. We're pretty good. Everyone's stuck at home.
Yeah.
So I think that over the past kind of few years, you've done a couple projects that have been outside of Hong Kong. I think that a lot of the Hong Kong audience would be interested in hearing about those. So I believe the first one is Q-Skin, Love SOS, which was shown in Shanghai in 2018. And also Let the Night Breeze Send Away Yesterday's Dreams, which was shown in Wuhan in 2017. So maybe you can start by introducing one of those to us.
Yes, maybe I will start to introduce the project Kiyosaki, the one in Shanghai. So I can show you guys some images about the show, like a general setting. So maybe you guys, maybe if you haven't seen the show yet, then maybe you can just get more ideas about show, and then I will just like talk about this like just with the image. So I just start. So can everyone see it? See the images? See the image. Okay. Right. So this is the project. You know, I work in with Blind Spot Gallery in Shanghai Art 22 in 2018. And it's like a kind of like it is a solo book actually for the art fair there. And then this project, the name is called Kiyosaki, Love SOS. Actually, this name is a Japanese word. It's a Japanese keyword, which is mean getting close quickly. And then it's about the status maybe before having a relationship, and it's kind of like have tension and maybe nervous at the same time, like excited, something like this. So this whole project actually is inspired by maybe around 80s or 90s, like Japan anime, which is maybe mainly about like love story, and it's kind of like how this kind of like Japanese anime love story, how they maybe narrative about the love feeling of like a young ladies. Because most of my recent practice actually is always inspired by mass media, and I'm very interested to always explore and also learn how this kind of like mass media, you know, just maybe how they build up visual narratives. So maybe you can see the image here. I use a lot of like elements, like it's really direct, kind of like direct use the anime image. For example, you can see on the left side, there's like a painting. It's like it's a portrait of an anime character. And then the right side is like the background. I use like one cartoon, like the night scene, to kind of like help to kind of suggest the background of the space. Because actually, when I do the show, I always like to start to build up like a stage background. Like this one, because it's related to kind of like Japanese anime. So you can see like, you know, just I'll imagine, you know, just this is more like a Tokyo city life, and it's more like at night. And then just so, let's see. I want to go, sorry. I show the second image. Let's see. Here. So, so besides the other, like the wallpaper on the right side, and then the middle one, I also use another night scene for the setting as well. It's also about the night on the street, and then also this is like also this I set like a sofa table, and also like a sofa chair, and also a coffee table as well. It's kind of like suggest kind of like reference actually. It's kind of like old vintage Japan cafe, like that kind of feeling. And then besides it, I also use like color, you know, just like to kind of help to suggest, you know, maybe before the audience come to see a show, they already can kind of see, you know, what is this about, like about the Japanese anime. So here are some like general images of the show. Maybe I can introduce maybe the words about the show, like just maybe just very brief. How does it sound?
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So here is one of the words for the project, and the name is called Midnight Temptation. And I select like an image here. It's like a, you know, I choose it's a lady actually. It's like wear a short skirt and looks like very fancy. So it's kind of like, you know, have a car, and I suggest it's like kind of like getting ready to go for dating, and then come along with the wallpaper as well. Like, because in this show, I want to do kind of like a mixture in between kind of like an imagination world and also reality. So it's like I use like this kind of two image. One is like animation, and one is like reality image, like realistic image, and then to put them together.
To make it clearer for the audience member, the larger image, the background image is a wallpaper that you took, the imagery you took from a Japanese animation, like a frame that you took. And then the smaller image, this woman and the taxi car or just a car, is an image that you paint. It's a piece of oil painting.
Ah, yes.
And where is the scene from? Is it from like a TV show or some other image that you found?
The background actually is from Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon, yeah.
Yes.
The shape of the moon remind me.
And then the painting, the image actually is from a Japanese commercial, which is it's like a car commercial.
Mm.
Yeah, but just this is like a really short, last only 1 second, like this scene. But somehow I find it has like a quality, you know, to become a painting image that can contemplate. So, and I think suitable. It get like some kind of like attractive feeling to me, like just like a young lady. You cannot really see her, you know, you can only see her back, and then she look a little bit sassy like this. So it's like, yeah. And then the next one, this one, I suggest, this one I suggest more about the mixture, about animation, and also kind of like my style, like the realistic painting, you know, just as well, and the mixture. So it's one of the image like the audiences can see for the show, so they can get a little bit sense, because to kind of like how I want to suggest about like imagination mixture, like to the world of realistic. And this painting actually, the right side, you can see the graphic. It is really like it's one animation, like the scene. And then the left side, I asked a model actually to help me, you know, with the props and also dress up, and then to help me to take that picture, and then to kind of like to help to match that image together. And to me, you know, like something like this, you can see, you know, just like a young lady's hand, and then holding like, you know, the telephone like line. And I always feel like, you know, just like especially in the past, like the Japan animation, somehow they can use image like in a very efficient way. Like for example, like something like this, like just a hand holding a phone and then kind of like touch it. It kind of already showed that feeling, you know, just what I mentioned earlier, nervous but excited, you know, just like kind of like talking in the phone, you know, like that kind of feeling. We don't need to see the face, the facial expression, already can express that. So it also like made me like, you know, just feel very interested to learn about how, you know, how mass media, you know, just do the narrative about image like this. And then this also, one of the painting there is also a girl. And the reason why I choose this is because the dressing is kind of like, it's vintage, like the short white short shorts. It's not like as popular, you know, nowadays we wear. So it also, you know, it's like a visual language that I use, you know, to suggest like, maybe this is not necessary in nowadays, but maybe it's a little bit like more past, maybe not much further past before, but like just get that kind of sense to it. And also I kind of like this one, it's like a long dress or long skirt, because, you know, just the other one is, I think it's quite sassy, but this one, you know, it doesn't need to be like, everything is like, need to be like that. So just like kind of like balance about that feeling. And then this one is the coffee, like a coffee booth, like I do for the, it's behind the phone booth. Like I also have a phone booth to there, like a kind of like a vintage one. So here's like a cafe setting, and it has like a painting behind. And then basically this cafe, this setting is for the galleries, like the people who work there, they really sit there, you know, to maybe talk with the audience. Like some audience really have interest, and then they can really come to sit, you know, with us, something like this. And then this is also oil painting, and then with kind of like I crop it from like a one anime scene to kind of like have a coffee. Also kind of like want to catch that, like kind of like dating, that feeling. And then here's the phone booth. This is the first image the audiences can see, like the whole thing. Because I think I want to talk about like Japanese anime, and sometimes I will think about how, you know, how I don't need to talk so much, you know. Of course, now I can explain about my work, but, you know, just during the exhibition, you know, before, you know, just I cannot really talk, you know, so much. I want the audiences can experience, you know, just through the visual language I suggest. So I choose this image. It's like a anime character to be the first image that the audiences can see, so they can guess, somehow they can guess what it is about the show. So yeah, this is the painting. Yeah, it's the words, like it's the words of the project.
So does this image also come from an anime, or is this your own, is this character your own creation?
It's really from an animation. This actually, the character is from a very classic Japan anime. It's called Orange Roll, 蚕楼. Yeah, this one. I can show you the reference very quick here. This one. This is the CD cover. The CD cover of that animation. Actually, that animation do a lot of like soundtrack, like maybe 6 to 7 soundtrack for the animation. So it's like one of them. And besides this one, I also like consider I have the other one, you know, just like they have so many and to choose. And the reason why I choose this character and also this image is because this one because in this animation is it's really about love story, like a young love story. And then this character, if the people maybe watch this animation before, like my generation, so then they will know what character it is. And she's really like an idol icon, like a kind of like, you know, just to me, the reason why I feel so interested about this image is because it's really about kind of like the idol image, like kind of like maybe she's very pretty, and then she's like a taste of ideal love, and also kind of like imagination love, which we always like somehow maybe sometimes maybe we will project this like through idol, this concept. So I select this like for like the first image, like for the whole project. Yes, and that is like quite it's about the project, like about the show.
Yeah. So
Sarah, I want to, sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to ask Sarah if you consider the furniture and the decoration in the booth in Shanghai as a part of the work. And I see you also work on the tiling of the floor. So that those are all part of the work, right?
Yes, the project. Yeah, it's the whole whole project. Yes, like because well, you can see, you know, just like my show, you know, like the main, like the medium I focus is always painting. But like my recent practice actually really concerned a lot about the space. Like, you know, just like I think they are like together. Like I want to mix them together. It's not just like, maybe you can imagine if like this show only in an empty space, you know, it doesn't really have the tiles, it doesn't really have like the wall color, maybe the whole show will be different. And usually I use this kind of like setting, you know, to suggest the atmosphere I want to kind of like project in my paintings. And then it's kind of like extension, you know, from the painting. At the same time, it helps the audience, you know, before they enter to my painting, they can already, you know, get a sense what are they about. And also usually I like to spend a lot of time, you know, to observe like the space, not just like my exhibition space, but also the exhibition site. For example, I mean like Shanghai Art 21, it's like happens in old vintage building, like which has like a very kind of like a Western style of column, and also like a lights, like the lamp is like a very vintage look. Maybe can you this image? Can you see the background? Yeah. This. Sorry.
Yeah, you can see them in the back.
Yeah, the above, like the above has the like has the light, you know, just so I also have like a ball light to you know, to match that. Usually I like my project can, you know, also consider how the exhibition site, and I want them, you know, to come, you know, just come together very natural, like this, like it's the thing I can consider.
Hunter from the audience said that they're very interested in the tiling. Sarah, could you tell us more about the tiling of the space?
Tiling.
The flooring.
Yeah.
Because it's like check. Yeah. Can you think more?
Yeah, the check. Well, I did consider that because let's see if I can find another image. Oh, sorry, it's frozen. Let's see. you can see the original of the space. This, you can see the original space, it already has like pattern on the ground. In fact, in this exhibition site, the whole Art 21, the building, in fact, different region, they have like different kind of like pattern on the wall. It's kind of like vintage. And in fact, I kind of get a little bit inspiration from there. Like when I look at the exhibition sites first, and then by the time I haven't really have like a very concrete idea about like what I'm going to do. So, just like I look at the pattern, and then on the ground, I think it's very nice. So I think maybe it can be one of the elements that maybe I can try to do, for the whole project. It's because like this space, somehow I feel like if I only use like a plain color, like for example, the exhibition sites, actually they provide carpet for us to use, like a gray color, like gray color, tone color. Then the whole atmosphere will be different. And then because earlier I suggest that this space, I want to kind of like set up like a cafe booth, like a vintage cafe booth, like kind of like in Tokyo, like in a Tokyo city, like a night time like this. So I think this pattern, the color I use, and also the pattern maybe, I also don't want to be too complicated, especially like maybe the color, maybe I concern a lot to match, and also can also help to suggest it is like maybe an indoor, at least like an indoor space. At the same time, it also maybe related to just vintage, like in vintage like space feeling like this. So yeah, this is something I concern. And also I try a lot, like I did many patterns, like I also do a lot of like color combination in the computer first. And then at the end, I select this for the whole setting.
On the subject of color, like you always have like a very specific color palette. Can you tell us a bit more about how you kind of see color, or how you choose colors?
Yes. Well, because my background is just like trained up, like always trained by like painting, something like this. So color is always like maybe fundamental, for me, to consider. And then I also feel like, sometimes how explain that, like color can be maybe the reason, like maybe for example, like for this project, maybe if I want to suggest, I want to use the vision, like the visual images there, to suggest it's about related to maybe 90s or 80s, like a Japan anime. Then I need to consider how to use color to kind of like direct to that direction. Because like, for example, like maybe nowadays, if you really see the choice, like how the mass media, like for example, like TV commercial to use, is very different from like the past. Like maybe the color maybe is more cold, or I just make an example, for example, like Muji. Like Muji is like the chain store from Japan, it's always like in white tone and earth tone. This kind of color, when you see it, you will think about nature, and also you may think about Muji. But maybe the color I use, like for example, this show is like the main color I use is like a light purple, light yellow, and also kind of like a blue-green, and also some kind of like a warm white color. All these like combined together, they are like a very lively, like a lively color palette. But at the same time, they're not like too contrasty, like not like too like maybe blue and then orange like together, like to make the contrast. But they are like maybe a little bit conscious, but at the same time, because their tone is also very pale, so they are also very like in a harmony way. So this, something like this, I always consider how maybe use this color to suggest what I want to say before I really speak maybe the words about, oh, it's related to Japanese anime or related to 80s, 90s, like commercial, something like that. Because sometimes I think like maybe mass media, how they use color also can kind of like have like an ideology, like the past, you know, how they use color generally, and then nowadays how we use the, like how mass media use the color combination is very different. So I can use it, you know, to suggest, like to be one of the elements to help to direct the project, what the audience want to see, like can see from it.
Mm. The color tells a story too. And a lot of your subjects are always women. Kind of you focus a lot on drawing women or portraying women. Is there a story behind this, like why you're fascinated with women?
Well, this I can, well, you know, well, I can answer it very like direct. It's like maybe, of course, I'm a woman, so
Yeah.
you know, like this type of thing. For example, like you know, the love story, you know, from the Japanese animes about like a young lady love story, something like that. It attract me.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the other project is about shampoo
Mm-hmm.
for long hair, something like this attract me. Then yeah, it's kind of like natural. But when I think about that, maybe further, maybe I feel like maybe sometimes maybe a woman, like woman, like this kind of like subject matter, maybe it's not necessary something the most important for me. Like I concern like the most, like in my project. Because like, for example, like maybe the previous project I did with Parasite in Hong Kong Art Basel in 2015, maybe I can just show very quick. Is that project actually is related to men. I can show very quick. This is one of the image, like the painting, is an oil painting image for the project. This one key image, like for the whole show as well, is the show is called In Status. Actually, this show is really about surveillance and also how also about like kind of like a mankind power as well. Because this shows it's a man's shoe, you can see, and in fact, this man's shoe is really I really directly buy from a store that would sell who sold police shoe, like for this project. So sorry, it's frozen. So sorry. This you can also see is the whole booth. The whole booth is really about surveillance, also about like the black leather shoes, to talk about like how just maybe surveillance, you know, make just like kind of like make you feel uncomfortable, and at the same time it's about rule, like how an unseen rule happen, like in this show. So for me, it's not like always necessary about women, but it is, I just, when I think about this question, and then I just think like maybe what I really concern maybe is about feeling by human, like human feeling. Because when I really try to trace back my practice, even at the very beginning of my practice, maybe even in undergrad school, like I start like a word. Maybe can have a quick look of my very early practice. So it's like it's a very it's like this word is like from maybe around 2000, maybe 2008, this period. Like by that time, I usually paint into like maybe I usually like just the subject I'm into. It's more like a landscape, and and then by that time, I concerned about like how to talk about like distance, like how I feel the distance from me and then to the world. So I did a series of work that it doesn't really have like any figure in the painting. And then at the same time, like, I concern, about my feeling. I remember by that time, in fact, I start all my practice, like, from figurative painting first. And then my professor told me maybe even I talk about like feeling, human feeling, maybe not necessary to use the figurative painting maybe to talk. So I just like changed the subject matter, like from figurative to landscape. And then I found like, not just like a landscape, but maybe also like an object also can talk about this. For example, like one of my previous show in 2018 is called spotting the lights onto a light. It's an object. But for me, like this is like a kind of like a self-portrait. Like this is kind of like a light, it's supposed to kind of like turn on, like to turn on to light up the space. But somehow it's like, it doesn't really turn on. And then at the same time, it needs another light to like kind of like spot it on. But like the head is kind of like facing to a wall, like kind of like suggests a little bit like a shine, like being shine, like a little bit like that, or like a soft, like just very subtle about the maybe not very expressive, like more neutral like this. So I even not just now, I really trace back my practice, and I always like to talk about like a human feeling. On my work, it's not necessarily about female. And then by this time, actually, this show spotting the lights onto a light. By the time the gallery, the curator, who's called Ariana Giannini, she wrote an article about my work. Is one key thing about that article is she thinks my words is related to like how I kind of like using like an objective image, like very realistic kind of like image, and then at the same time it's like subjective, like my feeling. Usually I put them very narrow, like maybe the objective, like the image already directly contain my feeling, like my subjective thing. But usually I like to put them very narrow, and then I kind of like, address that kind of like a narrow gap. And when I really look back, and then I look kind of like to now my practice, actually it's like they are the same, like the practice always the same. Even now I'm like using like a media image, just maybe TV commercial, also like the Japan animation, like those kind of image, like they are very, very objective, but at the same time, it really projects a lot of my personal feelings, like at the same time, I at the same time together. And so for me, like my interest is not like necessarily about women, but it's like kind of like always I want to chase that. I always want to kind of like find maybe an objective like that can give me a very strong feeling, and then I can kind of project this like into my work. And always want to trace, maybe sometimes it's about the unknown feeling, like some feeling that maybe I'm not very good, like maybe I can really talk about this very clear in words, but I can just kind of like visualize them through my artworks. So it's like this.
So in that case, does it mean that all of your kind of your shows start with a feeling that you want to portray? And is it usually like, is it because it's something personal in your life that happens or that's going on that makes you want to express a certain feeling?
It's a mixture. It's mixture because when I talk about feeling, it's not like, just even when you are talking about like sentimental or sad, just you cannot like this word, cannot really kind of like it can conclude it, but at the same time it kind of like block the imagination or like the boundary of feeling, because sometimes I think that has like a complexity, just I shouldn't just like use things to maybe kind of like conclude. I can conclude it, but that shouldn't be the end. Like I want to kind of like spread and kind of like explore like that feeling, maybe in more complex way to talk about, yeah, just something. Maybe I cannot be very clear. Like I have that, but at the same time, it's kind of like blurry like that. But at the same time, I don't want to deny them. I don't understand the feeling sometimes, but and then at the same time, I don't want to reject or deny them immediately because I cannot really use like a very clear words to talk about. But and then I want to kind of like use, you know, like the art words like as my language to kind of like, you know, talk about them or spread them. Just keep them like just a little bit loose.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of mixture, like personal experience, yes, but and then at the same time I mix like with like, you know, just like maybe my thoughts, like at the same time maybe as an artist like that.
So Ingrid has a question. She says, thinking about artists who combine elements of design in their work, Isamu Noguchi and Donald Judd come to mind. Are you informed at all by interior design or set decoration, such as in theater?
Theater, yes, yeah, like does it mean like I got the inspiration?
Yeah, so are you inspired by, are you inspired by interior design or maybe set decoration, theater, film?
Yes, definitely. Actually, you know, this kind is kind of like this thing, like, you know, interior design, maybe even theater, like all this kind of thing. It's kind of like it's culture, and it's and then especially I'm very interested actually on popular culture. Like, you know, just it doesn't need to be like super artistic like a movie, but like some very like popular movie, something like that. You know, just sometimes, you know, they can you know, how they maybe manage the space. You know, give me a lot of inspiration. Because like somehow like all these kind of like the space installation, like setting, like something like that, to me I really feel like it helps me to activate the kind of like my tradition practice, because, you know, you know, just how I start my practice is like oil painting, very realistic style. But somehow when I see all this kind of like the popular culture, mass media, like the interior design, like all this like different field, it helped me, you know, to kind of like see maybe the tradition practice in a different way. Like not necessarily, for example, like maybe I can only do a painting, like just a painting, but the space, you know, how I create this, I think it helps. It really helped me to kind of like maybe look at painting in a different way than before. Mm-hmm. So it's really important. It's an important thing for me, like all other field besides like fine arts, you know, just especially popular culture, mass media, this kind of thing. Like it happens like every day. You know, just they're very important inspiration for me.
Yeah, so kind of about mood and atmosphere. So Hunter has another question. He says the vaporwave music genre uses the same visual language to achieve similar means of feeling nostalgia, yearning, and yearning. Is this something you've considered? And if so, could you talk about it? So I'm not sure what vaporwave music is, but I think Hunter is asking like, I guess music is also something that evokes atmosphere and mood. Is music something that you use to inspire you, or that you've considered even adding into your exhibitions?
Yes, yes. Actually, I quite like vaporwave
Okay.
music. Yeah, it's like that because to me, you know, I always love to listen to music, and music, you know, to me it's always about abstract, you know, just like, you know, it's some kind of like tones like that, always can suggest like an atmosphere, like just like it can touch you, something like that, and it's like kind of like, you know, something I want to really kind of like want to maybe kind of like catch, like want to really can be maybe succeed, you know, to kind of like capture my paintings, like in the vision, like just like, because mise is a very good example, you know, it's not like maybe you can, it really doesn't really like make your imagination like, you know, just block, like has about close your imagination, but it's kind of like open up, like make you, you know, just like, you know, just very quite free. So yeah, it's about, it's a lot of influence about that. Actually, when I work in the Kiyosaki, like the project, I really listen to the Orange Road those CD, like 6, 7. I just keep playing this, and that feeling, you know, just maybe it's very difficult for me to kind of like talk about, but like those music actually really, I feel like I really want to try to project that feeling, you know, to the project.
Mm.
Yes.
To follow up Hunter's question, I think there is a share of methodology in vaporwave music and Sarah's work, which is sampling. So in Sarah's,
yeah, just talk about the Hunter's his question, his or her. But anyway, yeah, just that question. I just answered that.
So Kaina says, do you think modern anime can evoke the same feeling as anime from the 80s and 90s that you were talking about? Why do you think you were particularly drawn to that era and medium?
Very, very different, actually. Well, I would say, well, actually, I still watch. In fact, I still watch a lot of like animation, even like from, you know, just like very update some, yeah, like they very different. Like when I see, for example, like earlier you see the line, the form, that line, that painting that's referenced from like an Orange Road. I would say, you know, just like I mentioned before, when you see that image, you can only see a hand, and then you see a form, and then can already subtly or indirectly to say this is a girl, this is a young girl, and she may be talking with like a person, you know, she feel nervous, she feel like a little bit like just excited, like happy at the same time, like that, you know, just through that image. And I think maybe nowadays, like when I see like the anime, maybe it's quite different. Actually, the vision, like how they manage vision is very different. Maybe they will use like maybe the same square, they can draw much, or they can paint much more things in the same image, like the moving image. And I can see, maybe it's just my just my guess. Like my guess, like to it is like, maybe in the past, actually the technique or the technology, like it's not as good as nowadays. Like nowadays, you know, when you see the animation, it's a lot of them, they use computer, like the computer animation. And then, so, you know, just computer can help them to skip a lot of things, you know, can do a lot of work, you know, just you can much faster to, you know, to draw an image, like many details. But by that time, you know, in 80s or 90s, or even like further period, you know, because like the technology or the technique is like more, is relative, more limited. So, you know, by that time, you know, the people need to, you know, just like really need to be like using the image accurate to talk about, maybe talk about what they want to say. Like, for example, like maybe I can show that painting again. I can use that painting as an example. I want to talk about actually how this question remind me how I really think like maybe 80s or 90s animation, how they use image to in a very efficient way, because they are really using very limited elements, visual elements can already talk about many things, like talk it, and also it doesn't block your imagination. You don't need to see her face, you know, you don't know how she looks, and you already can focus. Maybe you will just focus on the feeling, you know, of that kind of like the status. She feel nervous, and somehow it gave me like inspiration, maybe to use this kind of language into my painting. Like I don't need to paint the head, you know, to talk about this. I can just only paint the hand. Such a very limited elements, you know, I can already express that feeling. So maybe it's the reason, you know, why, you know, I'm so drawn, I'm drawn, you know, to this kind of like animation, because I really think maybe that period, you know, just how is an example how they use visual language, to very limited visual language, to talk about like some feeling, you know, just like very like kind of like spread that feeling, you know, like that, not like the kind of like the nowadays animation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know you also are going to be talking a bit about Let the Night Breeze, the other exhibition today. So do you want to start introducing a bit about that one?
Okay. Yes. This project, Let the Night Breeze Set Away Yesterday Dreams, it was shown in Surface Space in Wuhan in 2018. 2000,
I think.
I even forget. Yeah, this show. This show is also inspired by the moving image of mass media, especially TV commercial, which is related to those. It's inspired by those shampoo commercial, that maybe how they narrative the long black hair, and then this shows is about that. And then here is like these two images, the poster for the space. So you can see on the left corner, low bottom corner there, you know, is the space, kind of like the floor plan, and then I was the gray zone is like how I show in that space, and then it also have like two other artists as well to show together, and we kind of like showing this like a solo, like, you know, just my, you know, our own project. And then here you can just like very quick to see the space, like the space like of the setting of the words. So all these image, the painting, and also you can see the video, they are all related to that long black hair in those shampoo commercials. It's because when I really find them very attractive, actually. I find, you know, just how those shampoo commercial, when they narrative about the long black hair, in fact, it's very attractive. Like how to explain that? Like it's very delicate. Like that long black hair in those like commercial, like it's during also 80s or 90s, like the shampoo commercial. You know, when they kind of like, you know, just talk about the long black hair, and then like those commercial actually use a lot of like narrative, like for example using a hand to touch the hair very like in a very tender way, and also, you know, just with the music and also the sun and also the color they use, you know, all this kind of thing, it just make it looks like make me just feel like, you know, they like those people who create that those commercial, like those shampoo commercial, they really put a lot of effort, you know, to just talk about like those gestures, those nice feeling, like very nice, gentle, delicate feeling. And then somehow, you know, when I look at those commercial, you know, just how the black hair, like long black hair, like move, you know, just remind me like the sea wave, like the ocean wave. And which is like kind of like start to give me an imagination about like how, you know, it's like a summer, like a night wind and then blow, you know, just like a long black hair. And it's like an ocean, and then those wind maybe like make you want to maybe forget something, or make you just forget something that maybe you cannot hold on, like this kind of feeling. So, you know, I start this project because of that. Maybe I can show like a video like of this project as well. So maybe it really like I select some some hand gesture that I feel like is very nice, and then kind of like not just hand gesture, but also like how to like move the hair, the black hair, and then you know, just like kind of like maybe relate to the feeling I'm talking about. So here is like another view, and it has like the video, like it's like a nice screen video. For the video I make. And then I also build a glass wall here to kind of like, you know, just like build up like a space, and also, you know, kind of like maybe match the feeling, like the lights here. I do a setting like a plant, and also, yeah, a chair for a bench for the audience to watch the video like this. Maybe I can show the video first. Maybe after video, maybe I can show the painting.
Sure, you can show the video first. That would be great.
Okay. Maybe, is it, how do we have? Okay, maybe I just show one clip, it's like around maybe 40 seconds clip, not the whole clip, because maybe it's a little bit too long. So I just show one clip, it's like 40 seconds. So maybe can just get a little bit idea what I'm talking about, the long black hair. Maybe this one. So they are like all from, I select them like a moment that the ladies, you know, move their long black hair, you know, in a scene, you know, kind of like create this clip is more like a lively. Maybe I show one more to be the example, because actually in this whole video I have 5 clips. It's like different clips actually has like a different atmosphere. Sorry. I cannot find. Hold on, just wait a second.
Okay.
This is the other clips. It shows like also like the long black hair, but it also shows like a different atmosphere. Like maybe you can watch it first and then you can compare like the difference. So every clip is about 30 to 40 seconds, and it's kind of like related to how TV commercials, how usually they last, you know, just use around this time, you know, to kind of like express a concept like this. So it is one of the work shown in the night TV screen in the exhibition space. And then besides the video, I also have like paintings and also installation as well, like for the whole project. So here they are. So here's one of the painting. It's also an oil painting as well, which I captured from one hair shampoo clip. Is when she's like washing her hair, taking a shower, and then she just like kind of like, you know, just move the hair like that. And I find it's very attractive, so I select that image. And then at the same time, besides the oil painting, I did die cut wall prints, you know, to come along with the image. In fact, that stroke I did for the wall, it create like a, you know, like a pattern, you know, just for the painting. This pattern actually is quite common to use also in the past, how the shampoo bottle, you know, just some kind of like stroke. I got the inspiration from that. Like the shampoo bottle, they have like a pattern, you know, this kind of pattern, it just like remind me that. And also it's kind of like related to water, the movement, a little bit like a graphic image of water a little bit. So I also want to suggest, you know, because this show, this is related to like shampoo, and also it relates to also maybe the night ocean, the water. So I use this like kind of like a details to help to suggest that. And then besides the wall paints, I also use the lights, the spotlight, like one purple one and one is like a pearl pink orange like lights, you know, to be the part of the elements of the whole work. And that is the detail. So yeah. And then the other one, I did a very big wall print. That is approximately about 3 meters, 3.2 meters, like in that space. Because that space is very special to me. It's very different from my many of my previous show. Usually the ceiling will not be as tall. Will not be as tall. It's like 3 meters like tall, you know, as art space. So I kind of want to use it, you know. And then at the same time, because my showing space is more like in the corner, into back corner. So I kind of like, you know, just think about maybe when the audiences, when they come to see a show, maybe maybe from far, they can already see like an image of my project. So, you know, they can already get a sense, you know, maybe what it is about, you know, just you can see it's like one of the clips from the commercial. It's like moving the long black hair image. And then along with it, I also did a small painting to hand on the hair. And you can come closely to see that. This is also a reference from one of the clips from the commercial. It's the lady when she, you know, just move her hair, like just like very crazy, like just like, not just like touch it, but like it just like, you know, move very like big movement. But at the same time, like how the commercial actually slow down the movement. It make it like move. And I feel like it really like related to like the night sea wave. And so I select this. It's very impressive to me, this image. So I select it. And one more thing I do for this painting, which maybe you cannot see from this image, is that in fact I use plastic, a semi-clear plastic to wrap on this painting. to kind of like make it a little bit more blurry and also can match the image, the wall image behind. Because the wall image behind is like a production, you know, it has like a semi-glossy effect. So I kind of like want to kind of like, because like that wall print image to me, when I look at it, I feel like it's like a painting image. So, you know, just when the wall prints like the fine image, like the video clip, it's kind of like, it's a little bit like painting. And then I kind of want to make the oil painting look a little bit like the kind of like the poster, like the production, like that, with that plastic, the feeling. So I did this kind of like little detail for the painting. And then also there's like a small wall. I also did an installation. There's a staircase, which I wrapped with like a swimming pool pattern, and then it has a sink at the same time. And then it has a light, a shell. It's like a seashell. And then kind of like create a corner. And then in this sink, actually, I put a wax inside. It has smell. Actually, this wax I mix with shampoo, some shampoo smell. It's like a sea. Actually, it's like ocean smell, like an ocean flavor of like a shampoo. And then inside actually has a hair, like kind of like hanging, like inside it's like sink a little bit, but at the same time it's just kind of like come out a little bit, you know, just create a little bit like maybe sensation, like to the whole thing. So yeah, here's the project, the whole project about the show.
Because we're starting to run short on time, so maybe I'll ask you some of the questions that our audience has for you about this show. So Lam says, there are shampoo commercials in every period. You are fascinated by the shampoo commercials in the 80s because of their special style, or because this period means something special to you personally?
I need to read the question.
Oh, okay.
Because they were
because you were talking about, well, you were just talking about how the anime in the 80s and the 90s is kind of, it's very different from how it is now, the visual language. Is that the same thing that is attracting you to the shampoo commercials of the 80s? It's the way that hair is portrayed versus, I guess, commercials now or in other periods? Because you also keep emphasizing the like long black hair. I think even nowadays a lot of kind of hair shampoo commercials, it might not even be black hair anymore, right? Like now it's brown hair, or it's like the hair is so artificial, it looks so fake that you know it's not, it's like a computer.
Yeah. So yes. Yeah, just like the nowadays when I watch the commercials, like sometimes I think they overuse the kind of like maybe the computer skill, you know, to make the effect. So it just made me maybe feel like just maybe sometimes it's so convenient to use this kind of technique, and then it can easier to make maybe make the people maybe lost, you know, just like maybe to rethink, or like lost maybe the sensitivity, you know, about the feeling they want to project, and also just like the narrative, you know, they are not going to spend more effort to create a new narrative. Like, because like this kind of like, you know, just for example, I talk about like those black hair when he, like the ladies move, you know, just like move like this, you know, also can see from the video clip I show. I really, since only that kind of like that commercial show this, because I do a lot of research like about the shampoo, you know, just even like nowadays, you know, the people are not, I cannot really see something that creative to narrative about the long black hair or the hair, you know, just maybe you touch it, oh, you want to have a healthy hair, shiny hair, like that. But just in those commercials, you know, just you can see they spend a lot of like effort, you know, to build up the narrative, you know, just the feeling on it. And I feel like I can really learn a lot from those, like how to, you know, just for my painting, you know, how to build up the narrative as well. So yeah.
And she has a question as well. She says, I really enjoy your installations and how you create the exhibition environment. Do you see the setting as part of your artwork, or do you improvise and customize for different shows? Or do you already have a picture of the display when you're developing the work?
I will say that is it's part of my artwork, but at the same time, like, you know, just sometimes I feel difficulty maybe if I show maybe in commercial art space, because, you know, it's very difficult, you know, like how explain that, like maybe how about that, like Wuhan, this show, like I would see the setting is really part of the setting installation is really part of the artwork. And then when I work with non-profit art space, in fact, that give me a lot of freedom, you know, to think about, you know, just those installation. I don't need to concern too much about selling, like how to sell them. So it really give me a lot of freedom, you know, just like, oh, when I have a painting, why I cannot have like another elements, for example, like the lights or the wall print on the wall, and, you know, for the artwork. And then I feel like I create something. I recreate something. I don't necessarily follow maybe what maybe painting supposed to be like that. It gives me a lot of freedom. So I feel very good about this. And then at the same time, you know, just like when I, you know, just when I do a show, I always need to kind of like, I need to customize, you know, for different show, definitely. Like because I need to concern the space. So for example, like the same project, if I show in a different space, I cannot ignore, you know, the different space, how it look like, and then just can't force it to put exactly the thing on the different space. You know, it doesn't work because, as I mentioned, you know, I observe a lot about, before I show, I observe a lot about how those exhibition sites, you know, looks. And then I want to, my artwork also come natural, you know, to those, the artwork looks natural with the space. So this is very, like, I want the work looks good. Like, so, yes, I need to customize to think about like different show. And then usually how I work first, I may start to have like a key image, like maybe the key image, you know, what this project about. And then what this project, like for example, like the shampoo commercials, maybe what these like feelings give it to me, and what is the most important thing. And then which image is really like make me feel very attractive, very like amazing. And then I will start from it. And then I will start to build up like the whole installation, and also the whole space, whole atmosphere, to create the feeling I want to like project for the project.
So I think we're almost coming to time. We're a bit over time already. Maybe we'll take one more question and then we'll wrap up for today. So, and she has our final question. She says, can I ask what you're working on or are interested in recently?
I still actually further develop about mass media, like TV commercial, animation, and also movie as well. And But because in this kind of like medias, actually you can see many topics. And this is really my interest. I always feel excited to explore different topics, like through different show every time. Like for example, this time, you know, I talk about like the shampoo, advertisement, the long black hair, and then the other show I talk about like the love feelings of a young ladies. And actually, recent project I'm working is related to gangster, how like the gangster, their image in those 80s and 90s gangster movie, like the Better Tomorrow. Actually, I resent it because it's like quarantine period. I spent a lot of time to kind of like watch back those movie, like Election, 黑社會, and also just many kind of gangster movie, and also Japanese comics. One is called 英雄本色. It's Japanese comics as well. So it's my research, you know, for my upcoming project. So yeah, I think maybe this quarantine time is like, it's like the best period for me, you know, to just keep watching movie and comics, you know, as a kind of like a skills, you know, like to do research.
I think we're all looking forward to seeing that research becoming a show. So I think we just like to thank you today for joining us and sharing with us all of your thoughts and your shows. I want to invite everyone to join us on our next studio visit, which is going to be August 13th, and it's going to be a conversation with Chan Lab, and that will be from 9 to 10 p.m. So I hope everyone can tune in there too. Yeah, so thank you again, Sarah, and good night to everybody that tuned in with us, and thank you guys also for coming. All right, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you, Joyce, thank you, Gogo, and thank you, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Yeah, good night.